In this episode of Alphabet Movie Collection, I'll be sharing with you some movies starting with the letter D from my movie collection. Hey, it's me, AP, aka Mr. Movie Cheer, and welcome back to another video, and it's another edition of Alphabet Movie Collection, and now we are on the letter D. That's right, ladies and gents, the letter D. Having a deep dive behind me earlier on today, before doing this video, and having a look at this letter. And I'll be honest with you, the letter D wasn't too bad. There was a good amount of choice, some really solid choices. I'll be honest with you, behind the camera, I'm going to share with you something. I'm really not looking forward to the letter E, because I've picked out a few so far. I'm going to have a deeper dive tomorrow into the collection and really suss out what we're going to do with the letter E. But that is for the next episode. We're today on the letter D. So let's discuss and let me share with you some movies, 6 movies beginning with the letter D from the collection behind me. The first movie I'm going to discuss is Dawn of the Dead, and this is the Zack Snyder Dawn of the Dead remake. The one that came, was it like 2003, 2004, around that point. Big fan of this movie. I remember watching it years ago, and I kind of like, maybe not like adoring it as much as I do now, but like really over the years, this one I've looked back and watched it over and over again, and really do enjoy this, and I think it's a solid movie, and I think I've got more into Zack Snyder over the years, his movies as well. I do really like his movies. I think this is a great movie, and you know what's really cool about this? It was the screenplay for this was wrote by James Gunn of Guardians of the Galaxy, the director of Guardians of the Galaxy. So it's kind of like, you look at the career paths that have come from this movie. You know, Zack Snyder, this was like really very much early on in his career, and really where he sort of like carved out his name really with this movie. And then you got James Gunn, who was a screenwriter at the time for this movie, and then he goes on years later to do, become a great director himself. So a really fantastic zombie movie, though. You know, very much a remake, a retelling of the original movie. And I think the original is a great movie, but I just think this just takes it up a few gears for me personally. Dawn of the Dead, first movie beginning with the letter D. The next movie I'm going to discuss is Dredd, starring Karl Urban. This is the character Judge Dredd from the comic books. This one is one that I really enjoyed. First of all, I really enjoyed the Stallone Judge Dredd movie. Yeah, I really like that, and obviously I probably would have picked that as well if it began with the letter D, but it actually begins with the letter J, that one. But Dredd, let me tell you about this. I will say, I remember it's probably probably, I can't, in my late teens when this came out. I honestly can't really remember now, but early 20s maybe, something like that. It's a fantastic film. A friend of mine mentioned this to me at the time, and he said, like, check out Dredd, it's great. And I remember watching it and thinking, this is not really like my cup of tea. I wasn't impressed with it, I'll be honest with you. And it's one of those where it's been a second viewing movie for me, where I've watched it a few times over since, and I really enjoyed it. And more recently, I watched the Raid movies. I watched the first Raid movie, and I was watching that, and I was thinking, blimey, the scenes in this are amazing. But I tell you what, they took a lot of inspiration from this movie, I would say, the Dredd movie. Watch this now. I bet the Raid came out before Dredd. I've just ruined all that segment. But no, I'm pretty sure that this came out way before the Raid movies. But yeah, Dredd, Karl Urban. I really like Karl Urban in The Boys. I think he's tremendous in that. It's a shame. I know this movie for years there's been like talk of doing a sequel TV show, a sequel movie. It's never come to fruition. I think this movie just didn't do that well at the box office by the sounds of it. I honestly don't know the numbers, but for them not to make a sequel by now, it's a shame, because it has become like this cult classic movie now. It's really got a really big cult following as well. And I think it's a really impressive movie, some really well shot action scenes, and I think it's just got its own unique style to it, this movie. And I think Karl Urban as Dredd is great. It's a very different movie from the Stallone Judge Dredd. I think they're both equally great movies, but they're both very different movies. But Dredd, a superb action movie. The next movie, beginning with the letter D, is Django Unchained, starring, well, I mean, this has got an all-star cast. We've got Jamie Foxx, Christoph Waltz, Leonardo DiCaprio, Kerry Washington, Samuel Jackson. And I'm sure there's more names in the, like, small cameos and stuff like that. But great movie, you know, very much like a spaghetti western, this one. And it's basically, you know, Django, he's, you know, this guy, he goes from being a slave to being this, like, this cowboy and like killing all like the slave owners. Quentin Tarantino writes and directs this one. I like it. I think it's got as well Ennio Morricone. I'm pretty sure who does like you know he does all like the Sergio Leone spaghetti westerns, Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I'm sure he does the score for this. I'm just gonna like just try and like read through all these quickly these names. I can't say you know what? I'm fairly positive that Ennio Morricone, I know he's passed away now, he passed away a few years ago, but I'm pretty sure he did the score for this, or he worked on certain parts of the score. But yeah, it's a really good movie, Django Unchained. I really like this. I think it's I'm a big fan of Tarantino, I like his movies, and this is just another solid, super impressive movie. Great cast, great story, great soundtrack, great movie. The next movie, beginning with the letter D on my list today, is Dumb and Dumber, starring Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels. This had to be on the list. I was looking through these shelves and I saw this, Dumb and Dumber. How could I not put this on a list? Movie starting with the letter D. One of my all-time favourite comedies. I've said it many a times on the channel. This movie has just got tons of killer, laugh-out-loud moments, and you can watch. I don't think the jokes ever get old. Even though you know the jokes and you know what the routine, what's going to happen, the setups, for me it never gets old. It just like the toilet scenes, the you know where he puts his tongue on the thing, the you know the bar scene with the where they toss the salt and stuff like that. None of it ever gets old. It's an absolute classic, funny film. Always cracks me up, and yeah, this is a movie. I always think, you know, if you're having like a bit of a down day, put Dumb and Dumber on. This is just going to chill you out and just really make you smile. I always find it. Dumb and Dumber begins with the letter D, and it's one from the movie collection. I'm super happy this one is in the movie collection. The next movie I'm going to discuss is Die Hard, the very first Die Hard movie. I've got the collection here of the first 3 movies. I forget how many. Has it been 4 or 5 movies now? I think it might be 5. I've kind of... Yeah, there is 5, I'm pretty sure. I know the last one. I don't even think... I've got the last one in my little black folder of movies upstairs. It was taken out of the collection a while ago. But yeah, the first couple of Die Hard movies are solid. And I want to start with the first one, really, because the first movie, you know, it starts it all. Bruce Willis in this, he's great. You know, I think like action stars of the 80s and 90s, you got your Kurt Russell, Bruce Willis, your Stallone, your Arnold. I think Bruce Willis is a great action star. I do think he's probably on par with I think Kurt Russell for me personally, Kurt Russell is slightly ahead of Bruce Willis, just because I like a lot more of Kurt Russell's movies. But you know, Bruce Willis has made some really decent movies over the years as well. But I think Die Hard is just a great action movie. You know, like this movie that's taken over by terrorists. You know, you got a building that gets taken over by terrorists, and he's the cop inside who's you know, speaking with the outside world and trying to take down all these terrorists in this building, and it's just one man versus all this gang of criminals. And it's just like he's just an everyman, and he's not like a superhero. He's nothing special, John McClane, but he's just a guy, and he just wants to, you know, help his wife who's in the building as well, and basically save everyone else and just get out there alive, and you know, not get his feet beat up anymore. So it's a great movie. Some great lines. A super villain in there as well. And yeah, I think it's a solid movie, Die Hard. It's one I don't really watch that often, I'll be honest. Yeah, it's one I need to watch a bit more, because I've watched them the first 3 a good few times over the years, but I think I need to, you know, it's one I don't probably watch once a year. It's probably one I do need to give a few more watching opportunities to, because I do enjoy it. I always have a fun time when I watch Die Hard. Now, the last movie beginning with the letter D I am going to discuss is Despicable Me. That's right, it is Despicable Me, Universal movie. You got this is a franchise now that has spawned many movies. I think there's been quite a few Despicable Me movies, and there's been a few of the Minions spin-off movies. And I be totally honest, I can't remember which ones I've watched now, because I've watched a few of them and they all kind of feel like they all mesh into one them movies. But I always think each one of them is really entertaining. So Despicable Me is like this guy Gru. He plays this. It's played by Steve Carell, who's one of my favourite comedy actors out there. I absolutely love The Office, The American Office. But Steve Carell, he plays Gru, and he's basically this supervillain. And then he's in this sort of like organization of like other supervillains, and then he has all these like minions, these little yellow monster guys who he does do all these like work and make all these machines and stuff. And then there's a story where he ends up adopting some kids and stuff like this in the story. Let's just say, bottom line though, this is a super fun movie. It's an animated movie. It's a movie for the family. Anyone can watch this. It's just daft. It's silly. I think the Minions make it for me as well. Just the silliness of the Minions, but Steve Carell as well. Steve Carell is he's great. As I like him, like I said, I like him in live action stuff and like The Office. And I think he's an actor who can really work with his mannerisms a lot, and he's the way he portrays himself as an actor in acting. He's very very like performance like a Jim Carrey, but as a voice actor as well, he's superb, absolutely superb, and his funniness as a live action actor goes straight, translates for me to voice acting. He nails it, and he is superb in this movie. Really funny movie. Again, don't expect like a Oscar-worthy, acting, well-written story. It's a kids movie. It's fun. It's entertaining. You'll have a few laughs with this. Despicable Me. Really good one to watch, beginning with the letter D. So I just want to do a quick roundup of these movies beginning with the letter D today, and I just want to pick out two of my favourites really here. We've got Dawn of the Dead, the Zack Snyder remake. Honestly, it really is one that I think, if you've not watched this, or it's one you watched it once and you weren't fussed on, give it another go, because this one is a really solid movie. And like I said, if you're looking for a movie to make you smile, you've had a rough day, Dumb and Dumber is up there. Some of the greatest comedy laughs in a movie you will ever get in Dumb and Dumber. Absolutely fantastic. But these are my two for the final roundup. Two of my favourite picks out of this collection today. So there we go. The letter D is now complete, and now we are on to the next letter. I will have to start, going through this collection and getting ready for the letter E after this one. It's going to be interesting. But I hope you enjoyed this video today. I hope you enjoyed my movie choices beginning with the letter D. I want to know your choices from your movie collection. What movies beginning with the letter D do you most enjoy watching in your movie collection? Let me know your thoughts, ladies and gents. Thank you very much for watching this video as well, ladies and gents. Remember to spread a bit of movie cheer, and as always, I will see you next time.